me do a little bit of audio finagling here. This is Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. It won the poll. Now, earlier today, I had some meetings. I had to go to work, as people do. But after work, I got off and I went and bought. I went and bought this. I went and bought a physical copy of the Black Label version of Final Fantasy VIII, and I was going to play it on original hardware. I actually I don't have it in front of me. I have some other stuff. I was going to get it and play it, but I was doing a little bit of testing over on my other setup. You can't see it, but I have my big kind of like retro gaming setup over there. And the load times are just a nightmare. Just a huge nightmare, and it would add, I think, probably a full 5 hours to the entirety of this stream of playing this game, which is going to go for the next several weeks. I just don't have time for that. So the poll won. You know, the on the Twitter poll of what do people want to see? If you want to see the remaster or playing the remaster, which is A-OK. A lot of people talking in the chat about Final Fantasy VIII. Brendan McLeod on there saying, I thought Cypher's big coat was the coolest thing for 10 years after this game. Still cool. So it's the thing. Hey, STVM, long-time viewer of the chat, or of the stream. So anyway, we're playing the remaster. It's available on Steam, I think, for a cold $20 or something like that. So if you wanted to get it, and after the stream, in the amount of time during the week between now and the next stream, if you want to catch up, you want to play along, you'll be able to do that quite easily and handily. So let's just go ahead. Let's just do it. Let me know if the sound is bad at any point. Happy to change it, or if anything gets weird about the stream. But it should be good to go. And I created this little thing so I could do that. Here we go. I'm going to be quiet now. This is the important stuff. I'm going to turn the audio up too. Wowie. Talk about the stuff. So, I've done a little bit of a trickery here to all of you, because I have a selfish reason for replaying this game, which is that I'm working on an article about this, along with a couple other people who might be in the chat. They might be or not. So, like, I bought all these books about anime and, like, the academic study of Japanese global media. And me and a couple other people, we're going to be writing about Final Fantasy VIII for an academic article. So this is like my way of doing the research as content. How about that? Boom. So I'll be talking about some of that and probably reading some of these books as the stream goes along. Not this physical stream that you're watching right now, but as the summer of streams, as a part of the Summer of Classics, the Range Touch Summer of Classics goes. So this is the remaster. Some things that are very different. Obviously, the models are very different. And you'll notice that the backgrounds... Here, let me move this microphone a little bit. You'll notice that the backgrounds are very blurry. And that is because the source code for Final Fantasy VIII has been lost. And so the backgrounds have been up-resed in a couple different releases, such as this one, but they have not been redone. As you can see, like, the models of these characters have been redone. So the backgrounds, like the image files that the backgrounds were made from, are basically the image files that are on these PS1 discs, which is quite interesting to think about here. So that's why they're a little bit blurry compared to the rest of it. Although it looks like in the stream compression, those things look a little bit better than they do on my actual screen here. What is Salamaker? What are you saying this for? So, Jordan, hey, Jordo. A lot of good old classic people here, but this is Dr. Katawaki, and everything we just saw in that weird little thing. I know, Salamaker. Deep cut. Everything that we just saw in that intro. What is it? Did it happen? Did it not happen? Part of it did, so we're playing as this main character. This person. Got a lot of belts, got a cool jacket on. And ended up in the place. We're gonna go with canonical names in this good old-fashioned thing. This is Squall. And, well, that's the thing. Did it happen? What about all those, like, weird ephemeral moments, Danny? Danny says it looked like it happened. But, like, in what way did it happen? So they were training. And we're getting some of our primary characters here. We're getting Dr. Katawaki. We're getting Squall. We're getting Cypher. Some guy that you should just, ignore. Did y'all know you can just ignore a person who is, being rude and mean to you? His name, Hamilton's name is not Leon, unfortunately. His name is Squall. Does anyone know why they changed that in Kingdom Hearts? I'm not 100% sure here. So now we're going to get another main character. And there's really, you'll notice no music. That's just like what's going on in the game. Hello, Medium Dragon. Thanks to Foxes for Sale for subscribing. If you got a Prime subscription, use it. The end. No. Mine Arlena Hen is asking, Squall in your relationship to Cloud? No. So we're getting... Okay, so we should have sound here, and we don't for some reason. Hold on. Am I just not having anything? What's going on here? Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. Weird. Oh, that's true, Grace. They do just call... That is Squall Leonhard. Right. This is Quistis. No, Quistis is basically a teenager who is also a teacher. We will learn more about that soon. First, we gotta go do what's called the field exam. Moving around. Bop, 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 bop. So we're getting some real teen stuff going on here, right? I feel like I'm beginning to understand my student a little. I'm more complex. I too walk around all the time saying I'm more complex than you think. People know me as a complex person. Willhouse, let's not talk about Squall is dead. We'll talk about that at a future time where it matters. So we get these new models, and they look quite odd to me. I've never really looked at them up close. I do love this. I do love this idea that I could, like, I can move here. It's really where the cinematic maneuvers of these games, or what's going on with, like, kind of post Final Fantasy VII cinematic maneuverings, where it's like, we should all walk down this hallway. And I should be able to do that as, like, the person playing the game. And yet, I can only walk in one direction. Very good. And so, you know, in text, oh my gosh, these things are so cool. This, like, maneuver into FMV pre-rendered stuff. Right, so we just go right into... Oh, and now we're, like, looking at some other stuff. This is so good. This is Balam Garden. This is where Squall goes to school, / lives. So now we're back in the classroom. Minar, this is the garden. There's some rumors. There's a field exam for seeds. We don't know what any of these are yet. Now, I guess let's check really briefly. Let's do. This is what's some of the best part of, like, having this original thing. Gosh, this case is, like, tight as hell. So I have a complete copy of the PS1 version. So I have the little booklet. So what would you have learned? Let's see here. So the controls, main character's prologue. So let me do this. Let me read the prologue to you. At the forefront of a rising tide of violence brought on by Galbadia's war, Declaration is a seed candidate named Squall Leonhardt. Serious to a fault, Squall has earned himself the reputation of being a lone wolf. A chance encounter with the free-spirited Renoa Hartley, however, turns his universe upside down. Having thrived on discipline, Squall finds Renoa's carefree attitude fascinating. Yet there's no time to ponder these thoughts, for the job of dealing with the sorceress behind Galbadia's irrational hostility has fallen to Seed and Squall. In Final Fantasy VIII, the player will assume the roles of Squall and Laguna to advance the story. At times, Squall is known to fall into a dreamlike state. It is during these periods that he encounters Laguna. What destiny awaits these two characters? At what point does the story between the two cross? Who is Laguna? So this is like stuff that is in the prologue. This is like Disc 2 information in this game, which I think is quite interesting. So nothing about Seed in there in the prologue. The name Seed is in there, but other than that. So I think that's probably pretty interesting to think about. So some people Seed is some sort of exam that we're learning about here, and some people have failed the written test. And everyone else is about to go do, like, the physical test. The field exam, as it were. So there's Cypher. That's who Squall was fighting with. He's getting in trouble. I don't know if the Laguna... Well, so that's the thing, is it's kind of supposed to be a surprise, but not really. It's in the manual that teaches you what all the buttons do. So, we have to think, I think, in a general sense about games and their paratexts and things like that, right? Like, that's a pack-in that tells you a big part of the game. And that's quite interesting, I think. Lost Bookworm says, I always found those off-center text boxes and font as the most disconcerting aspects for me while playing. I don't really know what you're talking about. I think it's great. I mean, the text box appears near the person who's talking. And Final Fantasy IX would use that to really cool. Would do a lot of cool stuff with that. So let's see what's going on here. So these are a bunch of other seed candidates, maybe other students who are here. We don't really know. So we got to go to the prerequisite exam. Oh, Squall was gonna. So you're gonna see a lot of this over the course of this playthrough, which is interior monologue from Squall. And I think we might get it from other characters too, but it's predominantly through Squall, that is in these like translucent, semi-translucent boxes, and often in parentheses and with a lot of ellipses in it. You know, ... whatever being one of the most famous ones. And so we're gonna see that quite a bit here. It's important to recognize that. And again, Final Fantasy IX would really accelerate a lot of this and put a lot of that into play all at one time, which is quite cool. Sparkletone asks, what tone of voice turns my text blue? Okay, so we can like learn some stuff, but really we gotta go do like mission number 1, which is go to the fire cavern, which we will do. I will go check this out because Brendan in the chat was talking about looking at the message board, and I think it's very interesting. What a... This is what happens to me when I sit down at a computer. I sit down and I look and I go, wow, what a pain. So let's see what's in here. Ooh, this is blurry as all hell. They did not improve this. So there's a tutorial that will literally walk you through everything in the menuing of the game. I know how it all works, so I'll show it to you later. The basics here will tell you about some of the stuff. Magic, guardian forces, sorceresses, and magic. Let's look at magic here. Magic used by ordinary people is actually paramagic. In essence, it's a technique which involves controlling energy. Paramagic was developed by Dr. Odin. He was the first scientist to research the nature of magic by studying a sorceress. The skill can be gained through proper training. However, with magic, it is difficult to achieve power levels that are comparable to conventional weapons. So it's worth thinking about. And we're getting a little bit of lore here. You know, people love to talk about item descriptions in Dark Souls, but have you thought about just clicking on a thing on a message board and having it explain everything in the game to you? So Guardian Forces, GFs, they are this kind of thing. Memory loss is a possible side effect, but this has not been proven as of yet. That's interesting. And sorceresses and magic. A woman who has inherited the power of a sorceress. The origins of the sorceress go back to ancient times during Hein's reign. However, there's no factual evidence. There's no factual evidence? There's no factual evidence? Okay. Alright. Well, that's interesting. So it's just giving us a little, like, you know, we're directed right back to this, and then boom, we're, like, here in learning all this stuff, and there's all kinds of stuff that we can, like, check out. Let's see what seed is. You know, we've had some questions about that. Balam Garden's mercenaries, commanding guardian forces, they have special fighting abilities. They work in small teams and operate all over the world. Okay, so it seems like being a seed means being a mercenary. They're deployed all over the world. Their services are requested by governments and even civilians. Their tasks range from providing military support to protecting civilians. So that's interesting. What are the qualifications? All you gotta do is be 15. Passing a written test and completing an artificial mission or an official mission are required to become a seed. They're paid according to rank. So it's basically like taking your driving exam. You gotta take the written test first, then you gotta go do the whole thing. Let's learn about the garden, maybe. So there's 3 gardens. There's Balam, Trabia, and Galbadia. Balam Garden Headmaster is Sid Kramer, and Balam Garden Proprietor is Master Norg. Norg being all in capital letters, which is pretty weird. So I'm going through some of this. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of it, but there's kind of a narrative around Final Fantasy VIII that, like, weird stuff starts happening, which is true. It's a science fiction game, and it's probably weirder than many of the other games in the Final Fantasy series, just like as far as what's going on. It gets quite a bit stranger. But there's a lot of discussion around this game that, like, oh, things come out of nowhere. Who would have known this could have happened? And little did many people know that if you simply did the first thing the game told you to and go and read the computer, it tells you about a lot of those things, which is quite interesting. Minar is saying that Norg is a robot. Everyone likes Norg. Let's see what the message from Garden is. cafeteria announcements. So look, we're getting deep in this. The competition for the hot dogs and meals is really getting out of hand. We are doing our best to provide everyone with enough food, so please be patient and conduct yourselves in an orderly fashion. Thank you. As you well know, magic and weapons are prohibited inside the cafeteria. Now, sometimes text in a game tells a story by itself, and this does basically say that people are shooting each other with magic and other weapons in order to get the hot dogs. That's how valuable they are. I think Garden Square is like the, it's like the Trapes group. Right, so this is just like a public message board. We'll meet some of these characters later. I'm not going to read all of this. Hey, does anyone know if the new hot dogs are good? I haven't tried them yet. So, ZD, who could that be? Interesting. And then there's the school festival committee, which we won't check out just yet. I'm done. Phew! That's also how I feel when I get done using a computer. I think, oh, I'm tired now. I'm tired and tired of it. Wow. Brendan in the chat saying he used Almasty as my forum signature for so long after this game came out. Wow. Yes, Wheelhouse's ZD does mean Ziff Davis. So somebody's late. Oh. So we get some characterization here. We can be nice or we can be moody. Okay. So we're getting a little bit of information. Homeroom. Elephant says we could be nice or we could be Squall. So I think, you know what? I'm coming out early. Big Squall defender. I like Squall. So this character says, my place is so much bigger than this place is so much bigger than my last garden. And I'll say this: we go to that garden later, and no, it's not. They have a basketball court there. Okay. So we have this option of giving a tour, and I'm going to say we don't have the time. Because it's kind of another tutorial. It's to show you where everything is, and we're going to spend enough time in this place that we are going to be able to see all of it ourselves, thankfully. So check this out. My brother gave me these cards that aren't really my thing. Oh, by the way, I don't play. I've got this pack of magic cards, but I don't play. So this is the card game for Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy IX both have card games in them. We'll play a bit of it. There are a lot of ways to play Final Fantasy VIII. One of them is using a system that I'll probably talk through later for turning things into cards and then turning cards into magic and then using magic to power yourself up like a ridiculous amount. And that's a way to like go get really powerful very quickly in this game. And we're not really going to do that. This is mostly just going to be like a straight up game. A bunch of card maniacs. Wow. But this is mostly going to be straight up in the sense of like, I'm not going to spend a lot of time grinding. I'm not going to kind of break the junction system. I'm going to play it fairly organically. And you'll find out that you can... I'm not interested in trivializing the game necessarily, but the game does get quite a bit easier the more you know what you're doing here. So let me see if I can... I don't remember which button is the challenge people. Nope. Okay. Maybe none of those buttons. Okay. Whoop. So, when you hit... That's a save point in the game. When you hit the save point, you can go to the little menu here. There's an autosave? In the remaster? Wow. I've been playing for 22 minutes here, but... Alright, so we're leaving. Remember, we're going to the Fire Cavern. Yeah, I thought it was square, but so maybe I just can't challenge him. I wonder if I can challenge this guy. Oh yeah, there we go. Thanks everybody. So let's check out the card game. So there are two things. There are the rules, and then there is the trade rule, which is like how the cards will move at the end of the game. So if I lose, I believe Trade Rule 1, I'm going to have to refresh this before the next stream. It's been a minute since I've played Triple Triad, but I believe Trade Rule of 1 means if I lose, they get to take a card. So I'll take my best card here. So these are cards. They all have some abilities and things. Basically, that just correlates to like the 4 cardinal directions, essentially, and they are power values. So you kind of want to get a good mix here of stuff. So I'm powerful in the kind of left and bottom. Ooh, let's spin around. For that one, you can see my number of cards here. But we just generally want to get, I mean, we don't have a lot of options here so far. And generally, you don't really want to play a lot of this until you have the capability to turn things into cards, which I will show at some point later in the game. That's true. Brendan is pointing out that you can play the card game in the game before you do anything else in the game. So we're gonna grab this thing. So the win condition for this is having more cards on the battlefield than your opponent at the end of things. So, ooh, this is kind of a bad spot. I kind of beefed myself here. So let's go here. Okay, wow. I've super beefed myself already. I don't have anything better. This guy's got sub 6s, which I don't. So let's do this. Okay. So I think we'll be able to get a draw here. Nope. Nope. Just lost. Disgusting. All right, so it's going to take my best card. And that's how the card game works. I did get a Chivo, though. So that's even better. We will get better at the card game and have better cards to play with later. Yeah, Triple Triad is awesome. So let's see if this works. Can we do this already? No. So we're leaving the garden. We're going to the gate where Quistis is, and we're trying to learn about the fire cavern, because we got to do the preliminary exam before the field test. Oh, no one can draw, so let me... Oh, I don't have GFs yet. All right, give me just 1 second. Yeah, Foxes for sale, yes. If you don't have enough cards to like field a full team, you just can't play Triple Triad, which is great. It's like, that's Apex game design to me. Yep, no GF. All right, so what happens with GFs? GFs are Guardian Forces. We're just going to keep all the canonical names. Quetzalcoatl here. And Shiva. Oh gosh. All right. So this is in a general sense. Guardian Force give us strength. The stronger the Guardian Force, the stronger we become. So here's a basic explanation. I'm going to blow through this so that I can just explain it in a second. The basic idea behind GFs is that you can equip them to characters, and then the GF's capabilities are conferred onto the characters. So I'll show you some of those in just a minute. But the general gist here is that they're kind of like a magical mecha in a weird way. They are a cluster of ability, a cluster basically of equipment slots for magic that characters can get, and then you can make those characters more powerful. And so it's kind of a replacement for the job system from some previous games, or it's kind of like a weird version of the materia system, if you're familiar from that, or with that from Final Fantasy VII, in that it's a way of giving your characters some different capabilities than they might just naturally have based on their like character type or whatever. So it really is about like, the game ultimately is about like mercenaries who have this weapon thing that they equip to themselves that allow them to do all kinds of different stuff, and they can morph that around or transform it. So there are some really cool implications of this that we'll talk about later on in the game, but that's the big general vibe. I'm just resolutely attempting to skip through this, but you can see they have abilities and things like that. Junction is a good verb. I would not do that, Bubble Boy. Okay. So, whoops. So, the way this works, as you kind of saw just a second ago, is that you can choose a GF, and you put it on a person. I'm going to give Questus, at this point, it doesn't really matter who gets what. But we're going to give her draw, we're going to give her the ability to summon a GF, and then we're going to give her the ability to use magic. I don't think there are any... Oh, ability. Yeah, no abilities yet. Okay, so we're going to give her the ability to draw magic, to summon the Guardian Force, and to use magic. Whoops. And then we will do for Squall, Shiva, and then equip the abilities of drawing. And that, and no abilities to equip. So the GF menu looks like this. They exist here. The remaster's got some cool new art that's here, which is quite interesting. But what you can do, this is like the big maneuver here, right? What you can do is that at the end of every battle, you get ability points. Those ability points go into the equipped GFs and then Guardian Forces, and then they can like get new abilities. So these are all like hyper, PS1 level decreases in their like size capability, or in their like how many characters you get. So J abilities allow you to junction magic to specific abilities. So HBJ, junction magic to hit points, is huge. We're going to go for that first, actually. There is the ability to card, which turns enemies that you're fighting into cards. We'll use that later in the game, but that's not going to matter a huge amount right now. And then the rest are kind of just flat things. So increasing magic damage, increasing the ability, the damage that the GF does when summoned. I'll show you that in a bit. Increasing the Guardian Force hit points. And there's Boost, which increases their damage. And then there's Magic RF, which is Magic Refinement, which is that you can take an item in your inventory and then process it through the refining ability and then turn it into some magic. This fundamentally breaks the game, or can. The intersection between card RF, and then just the various refinement techniques. It just fundamentally shatters the game into like 1,000 pieces. Again, we're not really going to do that, but we can. I'm actually going to get Boost first here because it's just a helpful little ability to have. We're going to do that with both of them, and then we're going to get the J abilities after that. So we're going to run around and get the Boost abilities first here. We're going to do some random battling. Let me spin this bad boy around. So the Fire Cavern is over there, but we're not going to go to the Fire Cavern yet. We're going to do a little bit of just game playing. Yes, Kyron, that is exactly what happens. We're not really going to do that. Come on, random abilities. Chain Zero, it's not bad design. It is on purpose. The junction system works exactly as it was intended to do. And I think its ability to like kind of be broken or manipulated is the point. So there's a weird little thing that goes on with Squall, which is that if you hit the R1 button, as soon as he hits an enemy, it'll do more damage. Oh, I missed it that time. And I don't know. I don't really know why. So let's see if this... Oh, okay. So let's just doing some attacks. So you can see a beginning enemy dies in about 3 hits. We don't no items here, but 1 AP. We need 10 for boost, and I would like to get all 10 while we're over here. So we're just going to kind of wander around a little bit. You can see a town over there. Well, theoretically you can. It's got a couple enemies. So let me show you the draw system. So draw removes magic from a creature, and you can stock it, which just means you can put it in your inventory, or you can cast it directly back to them, which is very useful in some battles. So you don't know what certain enemies have until you draw it for the first time. So fire is one that this enemy has, and then let's see what else we can get. Scan. So scan, it works like other Final Fantasy games. And basically what we're going to do is, draw a little bit of magic. We're going to draw some scans. Those are going to be helpful later on in the game. We're going to scan a big boss in just a minute to see what it's all about. And you can hear by my tone, maybe, there are ways of playing this game that just totally breaks it, and there are ways that are a little bit more explanatory. We're going to be going for the explanatory thing, partially because I'm going to be writing on this game, and part of the work of writing an academic essay on something is being able to kind of succinctly describe what's going on with it. So I'm very much taking a page out of like the Chip Cheesem school here for the majority of the stream. I think some people, when I said I was going to do Final Fantasy VIII, thought it was going to be like a fun dunk fest. I'm a little bit less into that and a little bit more on it. You can see here I'm actually getting, maybe you can, oh, you can't see my hands, but I'm hitting the button to get that extra little bit of damage. Julia Pasteur, yeah, it's a fun game. So we got some magic stone pieces, so we can use magic stone pieces to do the magic refinement that we were talking about before. Many items can refine into stuff, but magic stone pieces, that's kind of their only function in the game, is to be refined into magic. But as like Kyron was saying, cure or healing items turn into things like cure spells, cure magic. And really, we are just trying to get our first our boost abilities here from our GS. Yeah, that's right. Solomon Core is pointing out their favorite way to break the game was spamming menu refresh so you get a limit break, which you can still do. We'll play with that in just a minute. So probably, I'm going to head to the fire cave now. I think we are at probably 6 points, 5 points, something like that for boost. That'll be more than enough to get us going, just because I want to have boost for fighting the first major boss that we have. No. Don't Kick Food was asking about IRB approval for the stream. No, in fact, the vast majority of research that many humanities academics do does not require IRB approval. I am not interviewing human beings, nor am I experimenting on them. And the overreach of IRB committees in the 20th century is not supported on this stream. No, we all love IRB. They keep us mostly safe from faculty members who would draw magic from your very body. The most nightmarish part of academia. So I'm curious about what people think about these characters as we've gotten them so far, right? I mean, we've gotten a little bit of dialogue, not a huge amount. I really like, this is the tessellation of the ground is quite interesting to me here, but the R2 button, which gives you the kind of traditional top-down, I'm thinking Final Fantasy VI looking kind of thing here, and then we get this much more third-person camera thing, and we're going to have to manipulate this like a million times over the course of the game, because seeing things in the world of Final Fantasy VIII is hard as hell. Spinning Mind says, I definitely felt the magic being drawn out of me in the later years of education. Well, that'll do it. Hey, we're going to fight 3 big old creatures here, so we're just going to go ahead and fight them all. And we haven't, actually, so let me show you a little bit of magic. Let's use some magic here. So we get this little, like, action camera that comes in. We can see these new models that are in the thing. We can also, like I was saying, there is a stock or cast, so we can draw things directly out of creatures and then hit them with it. So you contain your own destruction. Look, they die in one hit from the magic that comes from their own bodies. So there's all kinds of like cool little intricacies to the battle system here that are quite interesting and just frankly not replicated in other Final Fantasy games. For reasons that people in the chat have already pointed out, right? Like you can break this thing very easily and quickly. And it's kind of hard to recover once you do it. I know a lot of people, once they know that you can break it, they don't really see a reason not to, and that's like very fair. We're going to have a little restraint on the stream. Wow. WRS Hamilton going full on, straight up negativity on Final Fantasy VIII. Unknowable so far. Well, we're gonna learn how to know all of these characters. It's right outside the thing. All right, she's gonna tell us how to junction magic. We already know how to do it. I know how to do it. But it's basically what we talked about. You raise stats by being able to use a junction ability from a GF, and as soon as this is over, we'll go and junction some fire to these stats. So a big notable thing here that Lost Bookworm was talking about here in the chat is that the battle system is like interesting. I think it's good, and importantly, it moves pretty quickly, which is pretty good, especially for this era of Final Fantasy games. That is really helped by the fact this is one of the reasons I'm playing the remaster over the PSX version, which I've got the PS2 here. I could easily do that. One of the reasons is that the load time into a battle and the load time out of the battle is brutal. Like, the load time is rough. So let's go ahead and junction our stuff here. So we can junction some fire to magic. So you can see the stat just goes up a little bit. That's okay. And we will do the same thing for spirit here. Scan, I don't think ever improves anything. And look, I don't think fire is not improving spirit here at all. So it's not hitting whatever the threshold is for that. And we can always check our GFs to see where they are in their like levels. 1 point away here, so basically one battle away. There's also this thing called compatibility that's over here on the right, which is basically the longer you have a GF with a character, the higher their compatibility goes. I think that increases damage that is done and maybe their HP pool and a couple other things, but it fundamentally doesn't matter. It's an interesting thing to think about and manage, but it does not have a significant impact on gameplay in any way. Objective: to attain a low-level Guardian Force, a seed member must support. Are you ready? So this is like a test. Yeah, Kyron is pointing out this is pretty speedy compared to FF9, and yeah, FF9 is the load time into that. I don't have a huge issue with it, but like comparing it to other games is pretty rough. So you can take the maximum time limit. There's like different benefits for doing these ways. We're gonna go for the 30-minute time limit. I want to be able to leisurely do it. That's a good question. So Socranian Wolf is asking, and Medium Dragon is too, and Modality is asking, what's up with their faces? And yeah, they are hats that are like pulled low. They're like that. But also, what's under there? Who's under there? These are employees of the garden. These are big questions you should have, because they are important. Okay, so we got some characters here. So basically, we're just running to the boss, and no, Michael is not going to be on the things in the podcast here, or on the stream, as far as I know. He has not expressed interest in being here for Final Fantasy VIII. Quista says, the boys often choke on this test when I come with them. I guess my charm makes them nervous. Wow. Yeah, I don't believe there are not going to be any range touch current guests for FF8. See, so we just got Quistis talking, and then we got Squall narrating in his head, whatever, right? Quistis is just ribbing Squall a little bit, so we're getting a little bit of a thing. If he's pretty serious, and she's not. She's a little bit of a jokey teacher. Yeah, but it basically is. You're doing your practical test for child soldier school. Yes, I mean, they're teenage mercenaries, and this is the can you go out and be a mercenary test? 100%. So let's see what magic they have. Ooh, they have scan and then something else. So let's try to stock that and see what's up. So one way, okay, thunders. Those are going to be useful for us. So one way of that some people play this game, right? This is not the wrong way of doing it, but certainly this is like a way that people do it, is they would just get in this fight and then draw 100 thunders, max those out, and then equip that to an ability. We're going to be a little bit more lackadaisical than that. You can draw once or twice for battle for a very long time without ever, feeling like you got to grind in that way. So yeah. I don't know if there are other Bondy kind of systems for summons in other Final Fantasy games that are before this. I can't think. So they've learned their boost ability, so we're going to go to the thing. So I believe, let's check. Yes, so menuing is counted in that timer up there, which is pretty wild. So we got to be kind of quick about doing it. You'll notice I'm moving so quickly. We're going to get HPJ here, which means we can equip stuff to the hit point thing, and then we're going to get strength. So just increasing people's raw physical damage. That's going to be good for both of us. Dispossessed, no. So you can see there's a thing called a draw point here, which is you can get free magic without having to pull it out of an enemy or do something like that. And it's an interesting kind of cost benefit if you want to hammer right through this thing and not have to deal with any enemies. You know, you might not go off on that little side path. Use an ice attack for these. We don't have an ice attack, so we can't do that. So what I'm going to do is try to kill these as quickly as possible. We're going to do that by attacking with Squall, and then drawing out of these things, drawing Thunder, casting Thunder directly on it. So bombs, like in every other Final Fantasy game, that Thunder didn't do jack shit. Bombs get big over time, and then they explode. So we got to kind of race it down. So I wonder what the... Is it dead? Nope. Wow. Hey, Virtuous Sphere. Oh, I do have Shiva. I totally forgot. Let's summon a GF. Not that one. So summoning GFs looks like this. You can see they have an HP pool. So all damage that is given to a party member while the GF is being summoned, you can see down there in the bottom right, that damage goes onto the GF. So, for example, if you're trying to summon the GF and then you get hit by like a super big boss attack that kills them, then you don't have access to that thing anymore. So this is the boost system, whereas in certain segments, you can see when the little hand is free here, you can boost the attack. And when it has the red X over it, if you hit that button, it resets. And so if you're really good, you can hammer on the button. Good looking out, Lilith in the chat, on that attack. But so there's kind of a little bit of skill game involved with boost. You get the damage boost, but then you have to be pretty careful to not mess it up. So we're just moving our way on into the thing. Oh, you can't really see it. That's true. Sorry, my bad. There's a little boost meter in the bottom. So there's this big old, when I was playing this game for the first time, probably, 2000, maybe the year 2000, 2001, something like that. This, big, freaky creature was, the best. So we're going to get some blizzards here for both of the characters, and then we're just going to attack this thing down. Elephant says, biblically accurate bat. And yeah, it's kind of that deal. He's casting magic on me. So probably after this fight, we will use potions. I don't know what that thing is called. I would have to scan it, I think, to determine what it's called. Someone look it up. It's the big bat wheel. Alright, so let's go to item here. And we've got some potions. So let's go ahead and just max everybody out. We're close to maxing everybody out, just for safety, because we're going to be fighting the boss fairly soon. You and Cypher are in a class of your own. You both have a maging string. So the game's already saying, look, Squall's a chosen one, right? He's good. He's so good. And we're going into the hellhole over here. So there's some kind of economy of action here, too. Well, let me pause this. Oh, I can't pause it. There's an economy of action, right? Squall there, even in PSX level, original PlayStation, would gesture with his hand. Not giving us internal monologue, just the economy of a gesture. It's quite interesting. So this is Ifrit, Final Fantasy mainstay. And let's just summon both of our GFs here. He does all kinds of cool abilities. He might not interact with us until we do it here. So here's Quetzalcoatl. I'm going to use the boost ability, which is behind my head, unfortunately, but it starts at 75, and you have to kind of hammer it. So I'm at 100 now. Let me see if I can hold this up. And it's whoa! I'm at 111. I got to 114. So it does a little bit more damage than it normally would. It's like a little mini game inside of the big game, and I think that's quite interesting. Yeah, boost is rad. So Cherry says they were so scared of this fight as a child. What was so scary about this fight? I mean, he's cool looking. I will say, so I played Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII kind of simultaneously, in the sense that I like got them both, or had access to them both. Oh, I just accidentally reset my boost. Around the same time, and I will say the visual styles of Final Fantasy VIII really were much better. So he's like, he recognizes that, you know, we have Shiva here, so let's draw from him. Let's see what he's got. What do you got here, bud? So Cure. So this is a cool thing about it. So this is a boss, and we know it has Cure, and we know it has Scan, so let's like scan it here, but that means that we can draw from the boss to heal ourselves. So it's like a boss that is not losable in a very real and pragmatic sense. This is what Scan looks like, and you can like rotate this dude around. It's cool. Uses fire. It's a strong opponent, but as is a part of the Garden's exam, it's not impossible to defeat. And those like stats up there at the top are very cool, I think. I don't know if they matter, but you know, it tells it they're weak against Blizzard, absorbs water. Or no, that's fire, so it's got to be fire. And it tells us exactly how many hit points it has. Now, notably, this data doesn't keep showing up, so to find out the additional information, we would have to like do that again. You know, if we wanted like an update, and I'll probably do that. I'm a little bit conservative when it comes to like knowing that information in these games, and so you'll probably see me. I'm just going to keep casting Shiva, basically. So there we go. So we're like able to heal from all these things. People are saying they've never seen Boost before. Wow. Ekal says, I've played through this twice and never known that Boost was a thing. Well, it's a thing. Danny says this guy looks like he's about to punch the heck out of Wolfgar. It's true. He's about to take him to the abyss. Air-2 looking dude. So yeah, Boost is not, you know, over the course of the game, I don't think Boost is increasing GF damage by more than like a couple %, right? But it's a cool little game. It's a cool thing going on, so I'm going to go ahead and keep drawing some stuff here. And what, according to my count, we're just going to keep doing this, but can I do Blizzard here? Yeah. He's got, what, 600 more hit points or something like that? Jordan, I don't know. I did say weak against Lizard. It's true. So yeah, we're just going to keep doing this. We're going to boost again. This is, in fact, not Elder Ring. So this is an interesting thing. You know, we were talking about the Discord earlier today. Modality said something to the effect of like, you know, you need to be able to play the remastered version so you can play it faster, so that you can skip through some of these like GF things, the summon things. But unfortunately, you don't really want to do that because you want to be able to use your boost and get your extra damage for free. So he's like, what? Close to dead? But God, what a cool attack. It's got like 100, 250, 200, something like that. So it should be only a couple more of these. And of course, the magic that we drew before is helping us out here. So there's a kind of a maximalist or like a truly optimal way of playing this game, which would suggest that I'm a huge fool for using my Blizzard right now in any kind of way, because using Blizzard kind of hurts you because it means you have less magic to equip later, which is like absolutely true, and why I'm not really playing the game optimally in any way that we would use that word. Just playing it casually, what we might call a casual play. But yeah, you're really disincentivized from using magic, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun to use magic. Very well, I will join you. Very well. Ugh. It's kind of a bummer this guy like lives in this hole in the ground over here. So we got the Freets card. That card allows us to like play with this character in the card game. Okay, so there's also an elemental system in this game, which is like easy to do. You can see all these things at the bottom of the screen that you can junction stuff to. Well, there's also a series of elements and status effects that you can also equip to your attacks, and that just means that you can, make your attacks have fire damage or blizzard damage or thunder damage or whatever. If you're fighting enemies that are weak to a particular thing, that's only going to come up a couple times. I'm going to be honest. It's really not going to be a huge part of this game. Jordo, that would be a truly huge amount of money. Given where that money comes from, where I can quote you a very large figure if you would like that. People love the GF joke. Yeah, Handy Andy Squall does have a cool sword, and everyone knows. Oh, so I think it's really interesting, and I'd be curious to know. Like, I haven't. I played this game originally in, 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago at this point. And so I know how all this stuff works. So I'm very curious about, people who are first-time players, whether the junction system makes sense or if it doesn't in a general sense, like if you started playing it. Because it's something that's like it's so transparent to me, right? Like I just know how it works. And I do remember when I originally played this game as a kid, not knowing how it worked for a very long time, and definitely not reading any of those tutorials. So it's quite a journey for me. Something that's interesting that's really not going to come up for a while, and maybe I'll do the side quest for it, or maybe I won't. But there's the capability in this game to upgrade your weapons and make them different looking, and some of them start looking really cool. Brendan is talking about not liking draw as a like an ability that you have to equip. I think that's good. I like the cost of doing it. But you always got to have someone who has the capability to draw. I like it. Yeah, I do have a sledgehammer. I've got the official, I believe, Fallout 4 ? Sledgehammer? Super Sledge? Michael Lutz got it for me. I think when our last season of Too Much Future finished, you can go to youtube.com/rangedtouch in order to see our other videos and things like that, including past streams, as well as Too Much Future, our show about the Fallout games that we play. Here's our biblically accurate creature. What is the lost Lilithan? Hamilton, the time limit. So, maybe there's some confusion here. So the time limit in the upper right-hand part of the screen is just it has to do with the exams. So at the beginning of the exam, they asked how much time I wanted, and you get different kind of benefits. I think if you choose the smallest amount of time, you get a bunch of items, and I think it scales from there. And at 40 minutes, they don't give you anything. I mean, this whole dungeon's only 3 screens, so it's not like that's a huge thing. And it's also over. It's like as soon as you beat Ifrit, you're good. So, that's true. Modality's pointing out the kind of, time use ceiling in between materia. In the sense of like materia takes a long time to like max out and start doing cool stuff with, and you can in a couple hours really have a big suite of stuff to play with and fight around with in Final Fantasy VIII. Something that's really interesting about Final Fantasy VIII to me that we'll see later is that it has a fairly high number of what we might call like gimmick fights that require you to interact in a very particular way to them. They're a little bit puzzly in the way that like Final Fantasy XIII had a few of those fights, and I think that's quite interesting. Wow, people are talking about Gunblade lore in the chat. Lost Buckhorn says, this is about the junction system. On first blush, it's pretty obtuse, but I also feel like it's a system that's learned over time, and FF games take tens of hours at least. Yeah, I mean, I guess I also think about this in concert with something like Final Fantasy Tactics, where the job system is pretty obtuse. of learning out how that works. And this is like, oh, you get stacks of stuff, and then you put those stacks into like particular pockets. And that's pretty, it's at least non-confrontational. So let's go ahead and make sure that we are, because I forgot to do this. Let's get Ifrit on here. And let's make sure that we are leveling up Ifrit's abilities. So where are we with Quetzalcoatl here? We're at 28 of 50, so we're halfway there of HPJ, which is really going to help us out. Same thing with her. And then Ifrit, where are you? Nowhere, because you were not equipped, because I'm a fool. 20 of those points were from Ifrit itself, so that's not really an issue. We're probably going to get just straight up... Oh no, let's get HPJs. So we need enough HPJs to go around so that everyone can improve their hit points beyond their kind of stock capabilities. So that's kind of a thing you want to have going into General Selves. Oh, I didn't realize Waypoint were doing Final Fantasy Tactics. It's fun. Final Fantasy Tactics is good. It's a great game. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I don't think that... so Hamilton is kind of saying that Final Fantasy Tactics is a little less complicated. I would say that it's not like the word job or skill. Like I don't think the lingo is like signifying the complicatedness, but the way that you think about like JP in that game and the management of JP and then rotating around that like wheel of jobs and then kind of deciding how those things all run into one another, I think that is just as complicated as things that are going in the junction system. Although there is, admittedly, a cool little wheel you get to spin around, and there's like little gremlins all around it. All right, so we've completed the test. Squall is, narrative terms, is as good as Cypher. Quistis has assured him of that. Is there something else we have to do? So this is, I think, where they explain, so what is taking care of your Guardian Force? What's that look like? So they level up. They learn abilities with AP. And, I think a benefit and a drawback of this game is you got to sit through all of these things. They don't ask you if you want to do it. We've already walked through, like, how to do GF abilities, so we really don't have to pay attention to that. People in the chat are talking about real-life gunblades. Julia Pasteur says, on the playground at school, the rumors was to beat Final Fantasy Tactics, you have to have a degree in calculus. So I assumed it was too difficult. I don't know if it's too difficult, but certainly it, like, you start having to, like, do some big tactical thinking. It does take a minute. Wow, Spinning Mind is talking about creating an unwinnable game file in Final Fantasy Tactics. I definitely did that, around this time, like 2001, 2002, when I played Final Fantasy Tactics also for the first time, where I got, a third of the way into the game maybe, no, it's probably not even that far. I remember getting to, like, that first boss battle where your, like, rival guy turns into a demon during the fight, and I couldn't go back and grind, and I'd also, like, spread my JP across way too many jobs, and so I just couldn't win. I mean, maybe technically I could, like, in some sense, but in 2002 I could not. So here we go. So we got draw points who are here. So we're gonna put that on Squall. Yeah, Nosmic Animator. I would say if you're trying to play Final Fantasy Tactics kind of out of nowhere and you just like want to give it a shot, you might want to just like look at a guide for the beginning. I think that's easy to do. So this is the guy who gave me my cards. I should go visit his parents. Whoop. So this is some of the beautiful stuff about Final Fantasy VIII. Look at this. So we go to the screen transition. Do we go? Oh, if we go over to the right, it takes us back. Now imagine if you added like a full second load time to that, which is what it's like on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. Beautiful. All right, so we're going in and out here. We're going to save our game. And we got about an hour of stream left, I would say, today, which is great. We've gotten through kind of the tutorial of the game, and now we're moving our way on. So this is an autosave, which is quite interesting, and this is our thing. Now, obviously, originally, autosaves didn't exist, so big ups to them for creating autosaves. Ooh. So people are like talking about the seed exam. This is the, this is just the most 90s thing. I love it. So this will like warp you to different parts of the game. I'm gonna go to the dormitory. You can use that little warpy thing like every now and again, but not always. So here's the thing. I was talking a minute ago and I have no idea what I'm meant to be doing. Yep. Modality. You can use that to warp around. I think maybe I'm meant to go to bed. Am I meant to go to bed here? Yeah, oh yeah, here we go. Getting changed in my uniform. The muscle memory kicked in. I knew what to do. I definitely thought, oh, this must be what college is like. You get one of these little dorm rooms. That's not what it's like. So everybody's in their uniforms now. Kyron says, love that even in his formal wear, Squall still won't button up his shirt. Yeah, there are a huge like number of moments for characterization in this game that are visual and gestural. I love that. So there's the squad assignments. We're with Zell Dinch. Lively, he's just loud. So Squall's, he's complaining already, y'all. So now we're gonna get him. Here's our intro to Zell. I definitely, when I was like 11 years old, thought that face tattoo was the coolest thing that you could have. I was like, that's, you can't get bigger than that. Like, Squall's not going to shake his hand? What a jerk. So Zell has a slightly different limit break structure. We'll see these later. Sorry, my nose is itchy. It's true. So Lilithan says, I don't actually dislike Squall as a protagonist. I think it's fun to poke at him. I mean, that's kind of an interesting thing I think about Squall is he is there to be made fun of a little bit, right? In the sense that he is such a spoil sport, such a little goober, you know, little nerd who's like all up in his own head all the time and has never really given anything to anyone. And we get a reason for that, right? I mean, that gets developed narratively, but he's kind of there to be poked fun of a little bit, and people do regularly through the rest of this. But yeah, Zell is someone who punches stuff and loves hot dogs. Cypher's just being a pain in the ass. Look, everyone says it's none of your business. Wow. So we've been assigned, right? Cypher slashed Squall's face at the very beginning of the game. Squall slashed his face too, and he is now the squad leader for the team. And Cypher's got like a crew, Rajan and Fusion. They're cool. We got the inner monologue there. It's got exposition in it. You know, telling us who these people are. I hate it when people wish me luck. I will say I think Cypher is probably like top 5 villain in video games. Like, what a totally just rude dude with a bunch of attitude, right? It's great.
Hey, it's me, Cypher.
All right, so Cypher says he's got a list. That's not good. All right, Squad B, Quistis is the instructor in charge. So, right, you gotta remember, right, so we did the preliminary exam. Now, this is the seed exam proper. And now we got a SID. We got our obligatory SID.
Hey.
Okay, 12 members. We got 4 of them in our squad. And the exam is going to a real battlefield. You could die. It's like going to take your calc final and dying. It's no good. And we get this theme, right? This kind of battle theme going on. I like Sid's clothes because he's wearing like a kind of a large waistcoat with the most prominent belt buckle on the planet. And even in the original thing, you know, the PSX version, you can still see that belt buckle. Okay. So there are 9 seeds proper who are going here. Yay, everyone become a mercenary. Right? These are all 15-year-olds, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. And they're all going to do warfare. Good luck. Good luck, teens. Do a little running around. Wow. So this is what Modality was talking about. Modality said the remastered version has a moment where a 3D modeled character turns into like a piece of background material between 2 scenes, and this is it. But you can talk to him. That's cool. That's rad. Yeah, Modality says, time for 3D Sid to become 2D Sid. That's so good. So I guess part of that, or the reason for this, is that this happened in the original game, and the backgrounds are just upscaled versions of the original, so they kind of had to keep it. Although I guess they could try to paint him out or something. That's funny. All right, here we go. It's extremely funny. I love the cars in this game, by the way. No video game has had a better looking car. I'm going to be honest with you. And a better sound effects for a car. Listen to this. So good.
Show me your gun blade. Hey, Squall, show me your gun blade.
Well, that's the thing, Kyron. That's what's even funnier, is you can still talk to him. So his narrative function's not done. The little pickup truck in 7's also good, too.
Say something, will ya? Gah.
Yeah, so do y'all think... who do you think Scrooge is? In the fantasy world. Alternate universe. You know, a thing that is great to me, oh man, the first introduction of chicken wuss, the ultimate put down. No one's ever been more insulted than being called chicken wuss. If someone said that to me in real life, I would openly weep. Chicken wuss. So, something that's really interesting to me about this game is how many of these moments there are that are just pure scripted sequence. I mean, there are some... there's some in Final Fantasy VII, a fair number. I'm thinking about like the bar conversation with Barrett, where you gotta like go up and down the thing into the hideout. That's mostly the scripted sequence. There are a few. And then Final Fantasy IX, there maybe as much as this, but to me what's so interesting is that this is functionally, what we would call like a cinematic, right? It's a scripted sequence in which we are just progressing through dialogue. And we're really getting these tone moments in Final Fantasy VIII, which are really kind of exceedingly rare in the other Final Fantasies, which is like moments where no one is talking. And we're just getting these like character motions and movements. We're going to see that a few times. And I think that the relationship between these characters and the kind of space and actions they take is going to be really interesting to think about as we go. I have Chicken Wuss and a guy who just reached puberty in my squad. Absolutely brutal. He's mean. So now we get a truck. Or a little beep beep here. This is okay, so here's a great thing. This is what happens when you get out. Oh, they won't let me yet. Okay. Anyway, this is a little beep beep. I can drive around. And you don't get in random battles, and you can actually hit. And also, apparently, the word gun is printed on the side. I don't remember that from the original. But yeah, we can just like drive around a bit. You don't get in random battles. You can't drive through the forest. You can't drive over the mountains. Can I drive in this tunnel? No. Can I drive around this tunnel? Yes. And like, what a weird little thing to have in your game that is so beautiful. But we gotta go to this little town. And we're doing it. Whee! I think it does say gun on the side modality. Oh yeah, GDN, Stacking Away probably has it right. Yeah. Oh yeah, Juliet Pester. Yeah, the way that FF9 does that are with the active time events. What a great thing. Maybe I'll do FF9 after this, but that's a big time commitment. So we got a bunch of boats out in the harbor, and we're being hounded. Hey, get in here. Yes, Scooby. And you see that mountain? You can't drive over it yet. Can't wait till we can. So here we go. So right, Quistis is our teacher. Cypher is Squall's rival. Zell is the teammate he doesn't like. And here we go. Now we're on a boat. So I'm not controlling this at all. This is something I think is really cool about this game, is that sometimes you get these kind of like, I don't know, game-controlled vehicle moments. Pretty cool. Okay, so now they're going to tell us like what. So this is the siege exam. Remember, this is like the thing to determine if we can be mercenaries. Zoo, this character here, is going to show up multiple times throughout the game. You can tell because she's got a very nice model. So all right, so what's up? Like, this is mercenary time. The client is the Dolet Dukedom Parliament, and they've hired the mercenaries. Almost a day ago. The G army has been attacking them for 3 days. Dolet has abandoned their central part of the city. All right, so like, think about the maneuver here, right? Squall, heavily involved in teen drama stuff, right? We just switched gears from him like getting bullied by Cypher and like hating his teammate Zell to now we are in full-on invasion mercenary description mode, right? So like, these two tones in this game kind of bounce back and forth regularly. Okay, so the G army is just killing everybody in the mountains. We're gonna land on the beach. All right, so seeds are killing the G army. Yeah, mercenary teen school is a big choice. All right, so seed candidates are like doing mop-up duty in the city, essentially. Right, the order to withdraw takes priority. So if you're doing fights and you're ordered to withdraw, you gotta come back. We anticipate a battle as soon as we disembark. Just be prepared. So I cannot stress how much the tonal shift is about to really come into play. So let's just talk to these characters here. All right, so this is like, can I get a re-up on what just happened? So we don't care about that. And check this out, right? This is a translucent thing. So this is a decision that we're making inside Squall's head, right? This is like his internal thoughts. So we can like talk to Cypher. Cypher's saying take orders from him. What does Zal have going on?
My first real battle. I'm getting pretty nervous.
Oh man, Chicken was gonna pee in his pants. Damn. So these humans are using adult language. They hate each other. Wild. Given the seasickness, you know, this camera is moving in such a way. See you later, Brendan. All right, so everyone's like chilling out before we get ready for the battle. Okay, I'm back. Just want to get that clean, you know? I want everybody to be able to see it with my face there. All right, so we got to make sure we have our GFs going on here. Chain Zero saying this blew my mind in 1999. This blows my mind now. That's still rad. The fact that it transitions seamlessly into that thing, it's super cool, y'all. Like, it's rad. And, you know, part of the reason for streaming this is that this game is dominated, discussion of this game is dominated by, like, discussions of the junction system and how weird it is, or how, like, zany some of the stuff that happens later in the game is, which is, like, fair, because that is true. Weird stuff happens. But also, it's just like, dang, you know, there's some real cool stuff that happens here. I'm just healing everybody up. These cure, we're going to have plenty of cure coming up, and we've got Zell, Squall, and Cypher. Can I? No. Yeah, I'm going to switch out Cypher. Oh, can I not? Oh, my bad. I thought I could switch out the characters, so I can't. So I'm going to equip. Why am I doing it this way? There we go. So this is the thing, is it's not complicated. The menuing is just a nightmare. Alright, there we go. Got him off. So we're going to put Shiva there. And we're going to get GF and draw and item on Zell. We're going to get Ifrit here. And what can we put on strength? Looking like fire. And we're going to give him also, we're going to give him magic. We can do elemental stats here. We're going to do thunder here. Let him attack with a little bit of thunder. So this is what's interesting is that... Okay, so I would have to do this. So we're, this is a weird, systemic thing. So you'll notice that I couldn't junction... What? Quetzalcoatl? Yeah, Quetzalcoatl, because it's on Quistis, so I couldn't remove... I don't think I can. Let me see here. Can I? Oh, yeah, I can. Okay. Yeah, off. All. Alright. I'm going to put them on Cypher here. Boop, 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 boop. And he's got no magic, so you can actually move magic. Whoops. You can move magic around. I'm not going to do that. For Cypher, he'll be fine. I'm going to give him items. Alright. It's a little bit of menuing to do here. Here we go. Yeah, well, so Pinguino, I think partially this stream is going to be, the next several things of the stream is partially going to be around to refute the idea that this game goes off the rails. I don't think the game gets any weirder than its initial precepts, which we've already talked quite a bit about, and, clearly flags some of those, especially in Disc 1. So, I'm going to be, I'm a little bit bullish on saying... Maybe the reputation is a little bit memey and not deserved. But here we go. Garrulous Monolith says, imagine you lost this battle, but you survived and you're laying low and an angsty teen runs up and bonks you with a weird sword for a grade. That's very good. It's very funny. All right, so you can see that. So these characters have like a big ol', things. They got all this stuff. So we're gonna draw a little bit. Whoops. I did not put my things all in a row, right? So I misordered my things, so everyone's a little bit different. There's something really special to me about that, about being able to equip your abilities in different orders for like no good reason other than I guess menuing if you want to menu really quickly. Very good. I don't know, Pinguino. I'm pretty hardcore on it. I don't think there are very many plot twists that occur. Again, I think that is mostly overblown, and also overblown in the context of like other science fiction. I think that if you approach this as a science fiction story as opposed to like, I don't know, even Final Fantasy VII has some of this. I don't know. I don't think this is any weirder than any of that. Sorry, I'm saving one more time here. All right. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about it going forward because, yeah, lots of people haven't played it before. And I will say it's a science fiction game. Some weird stuff happens. I don't know if it's, like, unthinkable weirdness. But we'll see. So right now we're just kind of fighting the G army, which is what, the game tells us so far. And it's the Galbadian army. We'll learn more. You're right. You're right, Jordo. I really like the draw animation. I think it looks quite cool. Modality pointing out, I love how every Empire soldier looks the same in every Final Fantasy game. They certainly do it in 8 and 9. Right? That, like, over the Alexandrian soldiers and Galbadian soldiers have a very similar visual design there. Which is great. I wonder what these guys are up to. So, like, little events will happen like that, right? Okay, so Squad C have taken over the... Squad C is not very strong. All right, so there are other people who are there on the exam with us. We can kind of talk to them as they move into frame and do their own stuff. Hamilton, pressing stock and draw... Okay, well, like, in the fiction, I don't know. I'm like, well, I don't try to think too hard about what happens in a game menu that is turned into fiction, but in a practical sense, it just means you draw the magic out and you put it in your pocket. It goes into your stock, like a stockpile. So Cypher's out here. We're in the middle of war, y'all, and Cypher's out here saying, "Fight me, you cowards! You know, get out here." Wow, Jordo, it's rude. The Pinguino is saying, don't let soldiers have to feel pretty silly when a bunch of teens in short-sleeve shirts roll through and kill the soldiers who were wrecking them. Well, I mean, these are also teens who have been trained since they were, like, babies to be good fighters. Or at least some of them have. Yeah, stacking away, yeah, that's exactly how it works. I'm going to stock a few more cures here. Lost Bookworm says, you see anyone rolling up in that trench coat, you know something's going to go wrong. It's true. Anyone who wears a white trench coat in the middle of a war zone, they've made a choice, and it's a choice that is going to hurt somebody down the line. So I'm going to do this. So we got to take the square here. Got this little doggo. We got to scout the area. That's true. Chain Zero is also pointing out that canonically these teens have the Guardian Forces, which like make them much stronger than an average human being. So I'm going to go into the stock here, and I'm going to take the magic that Cypher has and give it to someone else. And I'm going to do that regularly. And the reason for that is a narrative plot beat that you will learn at some point. Okay, so we can't go there. Looks to be a soldier up there. I don't believe you can challenge the dog to cards, but maybe you can. Oh yeah, modality. Well, actually, modality. That dog exists for two reasons. I think we'll see it very quickly. I think it's really cool that with Cypher, because he also has the gunblade mechanic, and when he hits it, if you do it, you get those double slashes, which is really cool. Squall's leveling up. All my GFs are leveling up. You should be able to challenge the dog to cards. I think that is right. All right, Cypher, we did our business. You cannot recruit the dog. So we just kind of chill out a little bit. Well, the Pinguino says saving the town is low enough stakes. It's also a final exam. It's not really. It's not low stakes. I mean, you know, in the sense of like, if you can't do the job of a mercenary, you cannot become a seed. That's like kind of the deal. So you know, I mean, it's like that's how it is. It's not low stakes, and also as Modality was saying, and as Zoo said earlier, see, look, he's mean to the dog, y'all. That's how we know Cypher's bad. So it's not just save the cat modality. It's kick the dog also. But you know, for our screenwriting friends in the audience. But right, there's like regular seeds involved too, right? It's not just the seed trainees, the recruits. So we're like chilling out. There's there's a cinematic time skip there. I think that's quite good. Can I move around here? Oh, I gotta drink some water. Yeah, that animation. This is a great use of an animation loop to communicate something. I don't think trainees come at a discount. The hell? Oh, he's punching the ground, y'all. Everyone's too bored. They want to do war. What is this? Some kind of dog training? I'm saying this all the time. I'm constantly saying this. Yeah, Lilith, I think, yeah, you get it exactly right? Like, the point of this thing is if you can't do the stuff, if you can't do war, then you can't be a seed. So, oh yeah, we saw some people sneaking around. No, Hamilton says, given he's playable in Final Fantasy Record Keeper, I assume Cypher was more ambiguous anti-hero. No, he's a villain. Well, yeah, but who has a lot of connection to redemption later on? I mean, he's a good old-fashioned classic, like, additional character. You'll see. He's more complicated than maybe he is at the beginning here. A thing that's important about this game that I think is also lost in a lot of the discussion of it is it's a game about people growing up. And often the Final Fantasy games are about adults who are like have the kind of a traditional video gamey, like they do adult actions, but they might be teenagers. Or they're just like straight up immature, right? So like Zidane, for example, who doesn't really grow out of that until very late in Final Fantasy IX. But this game is one that has, like, people have arcs, and some of those arcs are bad in the sense of, like, you can grow up to become a bad person. Like, that happens. I think this game's a little bit more honest about that than maybe some others are. I think it's got some granularity. It's got some granularity that I think was responded to negatively in some ways that got kind of pulled off in Final Fantasy IX and Final Fantasy X. And I like Final Fantasy. I like both of those games a lot, but I think there's a granularity. I was going to say granulation. I knew that was wrong. Granularity of what's going on in this game that's a little bit different, which is cool. Dog's got a great animation cycle. People are pointing out. Thanks to you, I feel like I can take on anyone, even if they do fight dirty like you. Look at that. They're bros. Also, his pants are so high. Friends to friends? Enemies to friends? This ain't no ordinary battle. Gotta stick to orders. It's good. Cypher is Gen Z with those pants. They're extremely high. I've never noticed that before. I wonder if they were always that high in the original. I like a guy with a high pant and a long jacket. Moose says Cypher grows up evil because the mad wedgie he always has. That might be true. They're pretty high, Lilifin. That is the perfectly normal height to wear a skirt at. A skirt waist and a pants waist, not exactly the same. I don't think that's a 1-to-1. IMO. So we're going to draw a little bit of magic here, just to, casually beef up our stock. Draw some stuff that... So, cool thing is if you have stuff that's equipped, and you draw more of it, you get stronger. Like in the battle. So if I sat here and drew a bunch of fire or whatever, my strength stat would go up, which is neat. And also if you, I guess flip side, if you cast those spells in battle, your stats go down. Which some people just don't like, and I think that's very fair to not like that. But it is interesting. Some complexity there. Ultimately, it's a drawback, but not a drawback that, is it a difference that makes a difference, as a theory head would say? Probably not. But it is cool. Whoops. So I wonder if I can do this. Oh, dang. I'll do it for the next battle. Jones got ice cream. It's very funny. Very good. Counterturn says the pants catification of Cypher. It's true. Cypher pants, pants Cypher. All right. Here we go. Oh wait. So what I'm doing is I'm seeing if I can artificially trigger a limit break. I don't think I can. I think I need to be further down. So limit breaks. So in Final Fantasy VII, for example, limit breaks are, it's like once a meter goes up, right? And in Final Fantasy IX, it's once a meter goes up and you get your, whatever. Trine, I think is what it's called. I don't remember what the thing is called. In this game, it's like a percentile chance that every time your HEB gauge is full, every time the menu pops up, that moon back there is really cool. Every time that occurs, you have a percentile chance that it triggers the condition for your limit break. But the weird thing, this is a Dolet soldier. The weird thing about that is that every time the menu comes up, you kind of get a reroll on that. And so if you're like below 50% health, and certainly if you're like the final 10% of your health, you can just redo the menu a bunch of times and you get access to it. It's quite cool. Trance in Final Fantasy IX. Thank you. And it's like a menu you can't control. It's pretty rough. So we're going to the Galbadian military is going to the communications tower, and they've killed all these Dolet soldiers, and we're trying to figure out what's going on up there. They've entered the communications tower, and that place has always been a nesting ground for monsters. Drat. Oh, a monster came and got him and grabbed him in there and ripped him. There it is. That's the monster. So apparently this is a system in this game. The final blow determines who gets more experience, but it's like not a huge amount. It's just like some amount more. And I don't know. I guess this is the only place this game tells you that. It's always been very interesting to me. Whereas like the first time I played this game, I was like, oh my God, I have to like micromanage who gets the final blow so they level up. But also, contextually, levels in this game don't really matter. That's not like a big thing that really is determining much about outcomes here. And so really, I don't know why that's here. I don't know why anyone tells you that, but they certainly do. I'm going to have Squall draw some cure because he's going to have to heal everybody up soon. Oh, I might be dropping a couple frames here, Medium Dragon, unfortunately. Dang, good to know. Yeah, it does look like I'm dropping a couple frames. It'll be okay. I'll fiddle with it for next week. Uh-oh, Dark Mist. So this thing's like taking a big beating from me here. That was a cool attack that did very little damage. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is Cypher's limit break. I don't think I have to do anything with it. So it's basically what he does to Squall at the beginning of the game. He shoots him with the fire thing and then does the upward slash. So it's like this like game mechanic-y version of what we've seen him do in the thing, which is cool. Oh, that's drop frames, Dex. I don't know what's going on with it. Okay, well I'll fix it for next week. It's been a long time since I've streamed. I probably should have. Let me do this really quick. Give me 2 seconds since I will be going for a little bit longer here. One moment. There we go. All right. That might help out just a little bit. So Cypher charged on up the mountain here. Everyone's policing over there. Oh, I should have healed. This poor Galbadian soldier. Can you imagine? Like, so you watch this team of teens destroy a giant snake dragon at the bottom of the hill, and you think, well, that gotta be weak enough. I can just hit him with my sword, right? My standard issue sword? They're definitely not gonna be able to kick my ass apart. So something's pretty cool about the game that I like is that you can, like, check up on your GFs. So we're at 4450, so we're very close here. And same there. And where are we here? Just 16 of 50, so a while to go, unfortunately. But we can use our magic here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just heal everybody up, mostly to full. Cool. Salo says, now if I'm just one guy and I see 3 people with swords running up to me, I might run away. And you would be smart to do so. This is great. It's like everyone, they're like sneaking, they're like looking. So they're doing some business inside this comm tower. They're repairing something. That's a good point, Wolfen. It wasn't 3 guys with swords. It was two guys with swords and a guy with his fists. So Cypher's saying, oh, dang, you're a nerd. I try not to think about being too scared. And Cypher's got a straight-up death wish. I fear nothing. As long as you make it out of a battle alive, you're one step closer to fulfilling your dream. Yeah, he's asking for, don't you have dreams, Squall? And Squall says, I'm not going to talk about my dreams. And Cell says, I want to talk about my dreams. Let me in on it. Right, we get this great triangulation of these 3 characters. Really economically. And also one says, freaking hell. Fucking fuck. What's the matter? Are you swatting flies? Casket says, my dream is to not die in battle, so I guess he's right. I guess that's true. Every time you get through a battle, you are closer to that dream. Uh-oh, who's this? Wow. Hamilton says, come on, Squall, you're always bragging about your complicated inner life. You must have at least one dream. So this is a critical thing. He doesn't really talk about his inner life. He's not bragging about having a complicated inner life. From everyone else's perspective, Squall barely says anything, and he's a huge jerk when he does. But we know he's got all kinds of thoughts, and we're going to see more. So we're going to see, so this is Selfie. This is a new character we're going to get. We're going to learn more about her here. This is the person who ran into Squall before, if you remember that. Who we could have toured around, but chose not to. And there's Cypher, our other teammate. Right. We, the player, know about Squall's rich inner life, but no one else does. And that's also kind of a really critical part of, I think, the reception of Final Fantasy VIII, is I think people flatten those things a lot. And from everyone else's perspective, Squall is quite a different person. And Cypher's going to tell you about his romantic dream. What a tease. One of these days I'm going to tell you about my romantic dream. I promise to all of you, I will never tell you about my romantic dream. Capital letters. And there she goes. So here's a funny thing. We can jump down or we can run around. I'm going around. I'm safe. I mean, we will learn about Cypher's romantic dream. It's, in fact, a huge part of the plot. Little did you know. So this is like a more beefy and strong other character. Galbadian guy. Lost Bookworm, there's a huge amount of physical comedy in this game. Which is more clear in the remastered version. I think it's really cool, but also is pretty clear in the original too. Just doing some drawing here. It's safer than jumping down a cliff. You can twist your ankle. This guy allows me to steal magic from his body that will heal the wounds that I take. Or actually, he doesn't. He only has scan. Actually, I want to grab a couple more of those. Alright. Finish this guy off. Blech. Right? Garrulous Monolith says it's better for your joints to go around. That's what I'm talking about. asking me to jump down a hill. No, thank you. All right. Let's go over here and talk to Selfie. It would have been much quicker if you just jumped. It's true. I wouldn't have had to kill that man back there. And we get this weird moment of like, would we jump off the thing or not? I guess so. I guess you wouldn't normally jump down that. I wouldn't. Well, anyway. Has everyone equipped a GF? Like, hugely important here. So let's make sure. So, like, Cypher's gone. You'll notice. So we got to make sure we get this back. I'm going to have draw, GF, and then item here. Because I think that will mean attack, draw, GF magic. I want, whoop, this menuing. Let's go back to magic here. So we want to have one person who can use an item. And I want to make sure everyone's all healed up here because, shocker, we're about to have some critically important battles. We're not close enough. So I could go and grind for 6 more points here, but I'm not going to go do that. What a cool screen. You know, we get the pan that you know, allows us to look up. What a cool angle. Look, he's chasing soldiers out. Rad. What a cool guy. All right, so he went up, and that's going to be our stream for today. So I'm going to stream for every Thursday for about 2 hours. I might stream a little bit longer occasionally, but it's probably going to be about 2 hours, and that's going to be it, because right after this, we're going to have a big boss fight, some big character moments, and some other things of that nature. So we're going to be done now. Thanks so much for joining us. If you don't already follow the channel, hit that follow button to know when we go live. I'll be back next week at the exact same time, and we'll be playing more of this game, which will be fun to do. And I would say, if you're thinking, hey, should I come back or not? The next stream, the next 2 hours of this game are some of the wildest shit on the planet. In the sense that you are going to continually be like, oh my god, I can't believe that thing just happened. It will be astonishing. And I'm in no way exaggerating. It's the wildest stuff on Earth. So you should definitely make sure to come back. It's going to be, 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. And I'll be back, and I'll be playing more Final Fantasy VIII, and there won't be any hitching next time. I'll do a little bit of A/B testing to make sure things work out, and maybe between now and next week, I'll do a little bit of magic streaming or something like that on the channel, so keep an eye out for that. I'll announce it on Twitter, twitter.com/rangedtouch, and you can go to youtube.com/rangedtouch to see the VOD of this sometime later. Thanks so much for joining me, everybody, and we will see you next week.